Welcome back to week 15 of Neutral Zone Reaction. We're finally back. We took a quick week off, but we need to talk some football. So it's time to get right back into it. How you doing, Brady?
I'm doing well. How are you today, Jules?
I am doing just great.
Tried to match you with the glasses.
Of course, it's like a
I
first
know
time.
I had to look nerdy, so
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the contacts can't always
the
be thriving.
contacts were just bugging my eyes.
Dude, my eyes been twitching like all day. I'm trying to
Really?
drive home
No, mine was too. I don't
I'm
know.
trying to
I'm a
drive
nerd
home
with
on
contacts too. I don't
Saturday,
worry.
and I gotta get it together before then. Dude,
All right,
but
but what do we got, Jules? What are we starting with?
we got a couple different things today. We got some reactions to last week and the week before, of course, because we missed a week. But aside from that, we've got some right and wrongs today. Looking back at some of our worst and best takes from the season, and then we've got some predictions of what's to come for the rest of the year. So, are you ready to hop in? I'm ready.
Got nothing better to do.
Heck yeah, let's do it. We've got our guy Brock Purdy on the screen here as our
Oh
featured
yeah.
player of the week. This guy is an absolute baller, and I want to talk about him because who would have thought that they would absolutely blow out the Buccaneers this week, right?
I don't know. I mean, the Bucks are kind of like a wounded dog right now. Like they're kind of just limping to the end of the season. It feels like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tom Brady doesn't have it right now. It doesn't feel like just like everything seems to be falling apart. The O line's a mess. Defense fell apart against San Fran. I mean, yeah.
Uh, I think, I think the 49ers are fine, but I think the Bucks are also fine. I don't see them limping to the end. They're gonna have their ups and downs. They're still gonna make the playoffs. The Panthers hold their own destiny, though. You think they have any shot?
Oh, I for sure do. They've won 3 out of the last 4. They're playing well. Darnold's played efficient, and if you're efficient in that division, you're going to win some games.
No,
I
but
don't know.
they
I
got
think
to
the
win
Panthers could
out.
go beat. What?
They have to win out to make playoffs.
No, they don't.
Yeah, I'm pretty
The
sure they do.
Panthers? No, they don't. Because they play the Bucks. If they beat the Bucks, they can lose a game or two.
Mm, yeah, but I don't see it happening for them if they don't win out. And the Panthers, they just don't have enough. They don't have what it takes, in my opinion.
I think they have what it takes. I mean, they have a great run game. Sam Darnold's playing efficient. Their defense is solid. I mean,
Yeah, but how long can that last? Sam
it can
Darnold is
last
not
in
going
the
to play
last 4 weeks
efficient
of the
for.
season 100%.
He's not going to.
It can 100% last 4 weeks.
He cannot last 4 more weeks.
Yes, he
We've seen
can.
time and time again that Sam Darnold is not that guy.
Okay, yeah, but he doesn't have to be that guy to be good for 4 weeks. I mean, Mitch has had good 4 week stretches.
Yeah, but
It's
Mitch is
not that
elite. Did you
4 week.
know?
Yeah, he was a lead against the Ravens too when he put up.
Did you see that
No,
stat that said the only two quarterbacks to enter a game this year and then throw 3 interceptions are Kenny Pickett when entering to replace Mitch and Mitch
Mitch been
replacing
entering to
Kenny
replace Kenny Pickett.
Pickett.
That's awesome.
Yeah, classic
Yeah.
Steelers. I saw a thing about Mike Tomlin. The I think the Pat McAfee show, our show's inspiration, of course, asked uh asked Mike Tomlin if he wanted to come on the show on Monday or Tuesday last week.
Oh
And
yeah, and he's
apparently,
like, "Nah, it's Ravens week. We're busy."
yeah, he's like, "No, man, it's Ravens week."
Yeah, no, Tomlin's a dude,
You think
and
that
Kenny
you think
Pickett's been
there's
playing
any
well.
way you think there's any way he's on the hot seat after this season?
No,
No, I don't either. I was just seeing if
why would he be on the hot seat?
well, because the
I
team
mean,
is
their O
horrible.
line's a mess. They have a rookie quarterback. Their defense has been hurt. He's never had a losing season there up until maybe this year. I mean, I
Fair
don't know why
enough. I
they'd
was
fire
just
him. They
seeing
see all the
if you
mess
had
around the
any
league. I mean,
wild
like,
takes on that.
what?
I said, fair enough. I was just seeing if you had anything wild to say on that. Like, oh, yeah, he needs to be done now. I
Oh
mean,
no,
I'll
absolutely
stand
not.
tall on the Harbaugh take from last episode. I don't think he's lasting more past this year if they can't make it past the divisional round.
Oh, I 100% think he's lasting past this year, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I still don't know what's going to happen with Lamar. I mean, like the team's a mess without Lamar. I don't know
True.
what motive he's going to have to stay there when he can go like what if he goes to like the Rams or something, or like what
And
if he
they
teams up with Sean Payton somewhere,
and they
and that's
play
deadly.
they play Saturday against the Browns, right?
They play the Browns.
Yeah, the
They're actually
Browns are
favored.
favored in that game.
The Browns, yeah, because the Ravens have their backup quarterback hurt.
Yeah, and the Ravens are fighting for a playoff spot. I don't know if they've got it left in them, honestly.
The Ravens defense has been balling though. They're pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Well, real quick, back to Brock Purdy. I wrote some of this down last week because I wanted to talk about it. Um, if I can find, yeah, here it is. No, it's not. That's not it. Week 14. Yes. Okay. They can win the Super Bowl with this guy, and it is no joke. All right. This kid has so much heart. I saw him play at Iowa State. He will go into the biggest games and is not phased. This guy was
Okay,
he was the Fiesta Bowl MVP. No, don't worry. I got some accolades on me. He's the Fiesta Bowl MVP.
Jules like
He,
Googled
he's never
Brock
had a
Purdy college accomplishments. You just started listing them on
he's
his
never
notebook.
had a losing season there. He played all 4 years. Um this guy, first off, he loves when they have different uniform combos. Like the Niners pull out those different unis sometimes. Every time they'd
Ooh,
wear like the black unis at Iowa State, I feel like the kid was just balling out. Cause that's a huge impact
oh,
on
100%.
all of this. He has every record in their record book, basically. As you would hope a 4-year quarterback would, but I mean, you see this
Okay, but
guy
who's he
play.
competing with? One other quarterback went to Iowa State.
He I don't know who else went there, but he's
Exactly.
looked so composed over the last couple weeks. Like the game is not too big for him. The moment is not too big. This is just such a Tom Brady. Like Tom
You can't
Brady's been
compare
in
a
the
guy who's
league
had two
more
starts to
years.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's been in the NFL more years than this kid's been alive. It's time he passes the torch.
Oh my god, he's had one start. You're killing me, Jules.
He's had
I mean,
one.
yeah, the kid's
He's had
decent.
basically 2 games
I mean,
against
he's not
very
bad
good
by any means. Like
defenses.
he's decent, but he's not like he's limited. I mean, he's a pocket guy. He's somewhat athletic. He's not super big. I mean,
Okay, after seeing
I
what
have
he
my doubts. If he were to go to outduel Jalen Hurts in Philly or go to the Super Bowl against Mahomes, Josh Allen, you think he's going to win that game?
possibly, because
I
here's what
doubt it.
happens. You're talking about this whole outduel thing. We know the 49ers are known to win games like this where they do not need to outduel the other team. So just look at last year against Green Bay. You got the best quarterback in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers
And
played terrible in that game. He scored 10 points.
exactly. The 49ers will do that to you.
Exactly.
Brock Purdy's not going to have to outduel anyone. And I mean, he played better than Tua did, and he played better than Tom Brady did. There's no reason to think that when he plays a horrible defense in the coming weeks. I mean, Seattle's D, they have Tariq Woolen and who else?
Kobe Bryant. They
Uchenna
got
Nwosu, Kobe Bryant. They
yeah,
have
they don't
like
have too
3 or 4 guys who are all right. He should be able to throw all over them if he wants to, but they're probably
He's
going to
not
have a
going to
run
have to,
heavy
though. They're not
attack.
asking him to do that much. I think they can win. The 49ers can beat any team, but at the same time, and if it comes down to the fourth quarter and it's close, I just think Mahomes has that edge, or Burrow has that edge, or Josh Allen, or Jalen Hurts. They have that edge over him. And that's why I fear for the playoffs. Because, yeah, he can beat up Tom Brady, or he can beat I don't know who he played last. Who did he play 2 weeks ago?
Hold the phone. A beat up Tom Brady? He hasn't even been beat up this year. You're just
He has
saying
like a
that to
rib
say
guard on. He's got
words.
a knee brace. I mean,
You're just
he's
saying
not.
that to say words. Tom has been fine all year. He's been never in doubt for every game except the
Okay.
first preseason game.
Well, okay. If you want to crown Brock Purdy as the next Tom Brady, I don't really see the point of arguing this anymore. You're clearly up somewhere else.
He could be.
So moving on, you talked about Tua. Like, what do we think of Tua right now? You think the Dolphins are in trouble? We think they're fine?
I think the Dolphins are fine, to be honest. Tua has had a rough stretch. Some defenses are. I was watching the analysis on the Sunday night game, and the Chargers, who do not have a very good defensive back system or a lot of good players back there. That Derwin James was out the other day. They were just they were not letting Tua throw where he wanted to throw. They were covering certain routes over the middle. They were doubling certain areas that he is known to throw to. The dude was like 3 for 17 to start the game.
Yeah, it was tough.
It
It was a
was
tough watch.
it was ugly. And
It was ugly.
when 7 of your points are accounted for by Cheetah outrunning the entire roster on that wacko play, it was not looking good for the Dolphins, but I think they'll be fine overall. I'm not too concerned. If Tua can adapt with the other teams, then they'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now it's safe to say that Tua might be the worst of the top 4 quarterbacks of the 2020 class. I mean, I think the Dolphins as a team are going to be fine, but I think Tua has been exposed a bit. For the first time all year, he's faced pressure, adversity, he hasn't had a lead. And I don't want to say he's crumbled, but he hasn't performed to the standard that we've seen of Tua this year. And like, I take Burrow over him in a heartbeat. I take Jalen Hurts over him. I take Herbert over him. I mean,
I think
I
this
don't
is an
know.
overreaction Monday type of deal, even though it's Tuesday. Herbert always plays like a god under the lights. And that's
Yeah. And when do you think the games that matter in the playoffs are? Under the lights.
not always. What if they play a 4 o'clock game?
It doesn't matter.
Herbert's not
National
going to be the
spotlight.
best
He's
quarterback
always
in the league.
good.
Herbert hasn't been that good this year.
Justin Herbert has been phenomenal this year. He's like second in passing yards.
Passing yards are.
Do you
not
watch
tell
the
whole story.
Chargers offense? Have you ever watched a Chargers game? He is throwing into these
Yes.
tiny windows, like 20 yards downfield over and over again. He
does
hits them every
sometimes.
time.
He does sometimes. And then there's some games where it's like
Justin
how are
Herbert
they
has
not
the best
moving the
pure
ball?
arm talent in the league, along with Josh Allen right now. He
I
is
agree. He's very
ridiculous.
talented, but he hasn't.
And you're
been...
saying he's not that good?
No, I'm not saying that.
You
I'm
are
saying
like
he has not
crazy.
been the glory that you're trying to portray him as.
But he
after
has. He's
one
been
good
phenomenal.
Week.
He's got a coach we don't like. He's got a sketchy O-line. He's had no receivers all year except for this week when Keenan Allen and Mike Williams got back. His play calling is abysmal. I mean, they have him throwing checkdowns every play, and they've had a poor run game. And you want me, and he's throwing for like 350 yards a game, and you want me to tell you he's not good?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yes,
I don't want you
yes,
to
you
tell.
did.
I don't want you to just like you have this whole crowning thing. I don't want
If
you
you
to
put
crown
Justin
him
Herbert on
as-
the Chiefs right now, the Chiefs would be probably just as good as they are right now. If you put Justin Herbert on the Jets right now, they might be undefeated.
Oh, just stop it! Come on now.
If you put Justin Herbert on the Dolphins right now, they're probably undefeated. They're
On
a
the
2-loss team
Dolphins?
right now. 2-1-2-loss team.
No, I'm not going to put up with this buffoonery.
Yes, you
I'm
will.
hearing on the other
Because think
end.
about it. Think about every big play the Dolphins have. Tell me one play that. Tell me, name a Tua play this year that Justin Herbert couldn't make. What, you tell me an over the top bomb to Tyreek? Herbert makes that throw
No,
every time.
there was one play in the Bills game where he's like
Come on, you have to
running
think of
around
one
all over
play
the
in the
place
Bills
and then
game?
throws it to Gesicki in the back of the end zone. That's one I can think of.
I mean, Tua's not bad. He's a good processor. He's accurate. He's smart. But I mean,
I'm not disagreeing.
dude, Herbert is stupid good.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm just saying the way you're putting it out just sounds like such a one game overreaction type of take. Like,
It's not
oh
though,
my
because he's
God,
been like this
Herbert
all
beat
year.
Tua, and now Herbert's amazing and Tua's horrible. Like,
No.
that's
I
just
never
the way
said
it's
Tua
coming-
was horrible.
that's the
I
way
just
it's
said
coming out
he's
from
more
your end.
limited than the other quarterbacks. Okay, think about those quarterbacks in that draft. I mean, Joe Burrow's
Yeah, it was
phenomenal.
insane.
He has what?
Yeah, it was an insane quarterback class.
Yeah, Joe Burrow is more like the next Tom Brady than this Brock Purdy dude. So I don't know what you're talking about there. Justin Herbert's phenomenal. Jalen Hurts is phenomenal. And Tua's been great this year. But he hasn't solidified himself as that upper echelon of quarterbacks yet.
Okay, fair enough. I agree with that.
What are we arguing?
I don't know. We just argue sometimes.
Anyways.
Let's talk about the Lions.
Oh, the Lions.
Let's talk about let's go to SoFi. Let's go to SoFi Stadium. Let's talk about the Lions.
I have selfish motives with the Lions. Because we're
Selfish
Bears
what?
fans, right? We want them to lose, but at the same time, they're Lions. You got to root for them, right? Because they're poverty. I need the Lions to somehow make a run so they keep Jared Goff as a franchise quarterback.
Oh, they're not. They're not going to go away from Goff next year. He'll be the quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. No, not next year. 2 years. None of the quarterbacks in this draft class really scare me, but Caleb Williams is like insane. Like Sean Payton talks about this. Teams are gonna literally tank for Caleb. Like it's gonna be bad next year. Next year, if like the Texans don't draft a quarterback or the Panthers, one of those teams is sitting at the bottom of the league, they're gonna be throwing games out to get this guy.
This is so tank for Tua talk that I'm hearing from you. Bryce, I'd take Bryce Young over Caleb Williams right now, personally.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Bryce Young is going to do better in the NFL because he has the escapability and the same pocket passing ability that Caleb has.
And Caleb is better at everything else.
You forget Bryce Young won the Heisman last year and still had an insane.
And Caleb Williams won it this year.
But Bryce played almost to that same level with no receivers.
Yeah, and Caleb is getting better and better and is younger. So he's going to still improve.
He's younger. He's 1 year younger.
Yeah, no. Listen, Caleb Williams balled out as a freshman in college, and then he's balling out more this year with a new program. I mean, that's not easy.
It's not a new
Caleb Williams
program.
can
It's
make
not a new
every
pro.
play
It's the
any
same
NFL quarterback
coaching.
can
It's the
make.
same offense.
It's a new program. It's a new vibe. That's totally different.
No,
Anyways,
no,
and
it's
no,
not
no,
a new
no, let me
vibe.
finish my point.
It's
Caleb Williams he's got great size, great arm talent, great escapability, great athleticism, great mental ability. There's no flaws in his game.
Caleb did not have great escapability against Utah. I'll tell you that. He had that one good run, and then other than that, they
I
were
didn't watch
swarming
I didn't
him.
watch that game, but I watched the Notre Dame game. I watched the UCLA game. He was running all over the field. They could not catch him. He's an athlete playing quarterback, and he's really good at it. And
He's
I
really
don't think
good.
there's a prospect right now in college that's better than him.
He's really good, but I would not be saying, "Oh, don't take Bryce Young this year so that you can save up for Caleb
No,
Williams."
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't fear Bryce Young or CJ Stroud or Will Levis the way I fear Caleb Williams in the NFL.
Okay. That I don't fear the other two, but I would say Bryce Young absolutely needs to be in that tier
I think
personally.
Bryce Young
This guy
has
is
the chance
insane.
to be phenomenal, but at the same time, he has just an equal chance to be very underwhelming. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Caleb Williams is a more
Fair
sure
enough.
prospect, in my opinion, than Bryce Young. And I also think Caleb Williams' ceiling is higher than Bryce Young's.
I think Bryce Young, see, that's where I disagree. I think Bryce's ceiling is higher because of
Why?
that, because he just has that, how did he do that playability
So does Caleb.
that you just don't have out of Caleb.
Every great NFL
Caleb
quarterback has
makes a
that.
lot of Caleb makes a lot of great throws. Caleb makes a lot of great reads, a lot of great passes.
Okay.
He throws for
But Jules,
400 some
every
yards a
good
game.
NFL quarterback has
But
the how did you do it. Every mobile, every athletic quarterback has it.
but some of them don't have that it factor that I think Bryce brings. Personally, I can just so see Bryce Young in the NFL making one of these insane running all over the field and completes it to a guy for the game-winning touchdown
I
when
mean,
they're
Mitch did
down
that a couple years
5.
ago.
Like it just so seems like that's going to happen.
All right,
And
well, we'll find out. But
yeah, I guess so. But
I
yeah,
think Caleb
well,
Williams will have a better career than Bryce Young. But we
back
will.
to what we were discussing that brought up this whole thing.
A lot.
I think the Lions will make the playoffs this year, believe it or
I
not.
don't. I kind of want them to. I think it'd be hilarious. But there's too much they need to happen for them. I think the Commanders are hot. I think the Commanders are going to make it.
I do too.
And I think the Seahawks or the Giants. I don't think they lose enough games for the Lions to make it.
That's the problem. I think they would get easily over the Giants. And then the question is Lions versus Seahawks. Let's take a look at those remaining schedules right now. Seahawks play the 49ers this week. Then the
that's a loss.
Then the Chiefs.
Okay, that's a lot. Oh, shit.
Then the Jets. Toss-up game. And then the Rams. Toss-up game.
They're probably going to win 2 of those.
I'd say they win 2 of them, maybe 1 of them.
Maybe 1, yeah. I'd say they win 1 or 2. So that'd put them at what, 9-8, we'll say? Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be not. They're 6-7.
Then you've got the Lions. The Lions play the Jets. I think they will win this week against the Jets. The Panthers, I think that's a win. The Bears, I think that's a win.
I hope that's a win, bro.
And then at Green Bay to finish the season.
Okay, see, the thing is, I think the Lions can win all those games, but I also think they can go like 1-3 over that stretch.
Oh, they very well might. But I think they've got an easier path to the playoffs, even being a game behind Seattle, than the Seahawks do. It would be awesome to see Seattle make it with Geno. That I would love to see. I would love to see the Seahawks pull that off. But I think the Lions are just that would be such a cool finish. It's kind of like the Dolphins last year, how they started like 1-7 and then won 7 straight games.
Yeah. Or the Colts. And then they lost to the Jaguars. Good times.
Yeah. Sorry, I've got a cold, so
yeah, you're good.
Battling to put on a show tonight. But
he's battling.
Hey, Jamison Williams just got in there for the Lions. All their receivers except Amon-Ra seemed to score a touchdown last week.
Lions are good. They have a good offense.
Dan
Not much to say.
Campbell's finally putting.
Their defense is iffy, but their offense is great.
Yeah, Dan's finally putting the pieces together. What's our next topic? We got who will come out of the AFC and NFC South. You want to talk about the AFC South?
I would love to.
The Titans and Jaguars just crawling to the end of the season.
I feel like how many games back are the Jaguars?
2 games. Jags are 5-8. Titans are 7-6.
I mean,
I was looking at this earlier. As much as I want to see the Jags make it over them, I don't see them.
Who do the Titans play this year? What's the Titans schedule?
Titans schedule.
Okay, you pull up the Titans. I'll pull up the Jags.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Titans play at the Chargers, versus the Texans, versus the Cowboys, and at the Jaguars. They basically have the same schedule. You'll see. Did you get the Jags one up?
Sorry, my Wi-Fi's weird.
All right, I'll get the Jags one up. It's right here. So the Jags play home against the Cowboys, at the Jets, at the Texans, home against the Titans.
Okay.
So they need to go 3-1 and have one of those wins against the Titans, and the Titans need to go 1-3. It's possible. Yeah. It's possible.
Who did the Titans play again?
Titans. They play the Chargers, Cowboys, Texans, and Jags.
I can see it because I can see the Jags beating all these teams or none, to be honest. But
same, yeah.
I mean, I think it's possible. I think Trevor Lawrence is balling right now. He's pretty good. He's good at football.
He's pretty good. What?
He's decent. He's decent.
Is he going to be the 2023 NFL MVP?
You're never going to let me forget about that take. Okay. Anyways, let's move on to this week in Vegas.
Actually, you want to go with our other thing first? Our rights and wrongs. Speaking of,
I'm gonna go a few rights and wrongs.
Hear about the take.
I'm gonna start with that. I've been telling you all year, the Jaguars are not that bad. They play close. They play competitive. They're well coached. And you're like, no. The Jaguars suck. They're the Jaguars. They're bad. And now they're winning, and they're winning big against real teams. I mean, I'm just saying the Jags have kind of been balling, and you like to hate, but.
And that was one of my wrong takes for this year. One of my few wrong ones, right?
I see a long list, but you do you.
All right, now we'll go to one of my correct ones.
Oh boy, these are.
I said before week 1, the Eagles are going to wrap up the NFC East by week 15 to 16. They're going to be insane. And sure enough, the Eagles were insane. I don't know if they'll have the division wrapped up by the end of the week. They would have needed the Cowboys to choke last week against Houston. But either way, they're going to easily win the East. Do they just have to beat the Bears and then win one more game, right?
Yeah.
Pretty easy task.
Yeah, they should win the East, yeah.
And
they'll have to they play the Cowboys again. They'll have to win that game too, if they lose some others.
Mm-hmm.
They're only 9-point favorites against the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears, except for the Packers games, the Bears have had a 1-score game most of their games this season. So you never know.
The Packers game should have been 1 score. They just got a touchdown garbage time.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, I know they're one of my. Then I don't want to keep this segment too long, so we'll go over these grand picks at the end of the year. One of my most proud segments. I said the Browns would be worse with Deshaun Watson, and I got clowned by everyone I know about this take, and I was 100% right. I'm going to be honest here.
I don't think you can say that yet. It's been. I
killed this pick. The Browns suck with Deshaun Watson. They don't move the ball. He's been turnover prone. He hasn't been efficient, and they looked way better with Jacoby Brissett. So I don't want to hear your rah-rah or whatever. They've scored like 20 offensive points in 2 weeks. They squeaked by the terrible Texans because their defense scored 1 billion fantasy points. And then they got rolled by the Bengals when Joe Burrow put up 20 points and had a meh week. I mean, he's not it right now. I don't know. Maybe he needs more time. Maybe he's just not good anymore. They've overpaid him, obviously. I don't know what it is, but the Browns are going to Brown, and Deshaun's not as good as Jacoby Brissett right now. And I was right. I know. I know it happens a lot. I know it's a normal thing, but I was right. You were wrong. And we just got to live with that
2 weeks.
Fact.
I'm not accepting that yet. It's been 2 weeks. He was rusty the first week, and the second week, he didn't really play that bad. He didn't play that bad last week.
They scored 10 points.
He did not play that bad.
I don't care how he played. Okay, wait. Time out.
They would have
He
scored the
has
same
good
amount with
receivers.
Jacoby Brissett.
I'm sorry. If you scored 10 points in the league as a quarterback with a great O-line, Nick Chubb, and decent receivers, you didn't have a great game, buddy. Justin Fields was up 30 with garbage around him. Jared Goff has meh receivers, a good O-line, and not much else, and he puts up 40 every week.
Hey, Bengals D stepped up.
The
I'm
Bengals
not,
D is decent, but it's not crazy.
I'm not jumping to this take just yet, Brady. I
Okay,
think
well,
you're a little
you
early.
don't have to accept that you're wrong, but I already have it written down in Google Docs, so it's pretty much set in stone.
All right, I'll go over my next wrong one. Of course, the iconic first bad take of the year from the start, James Cook.
I told you James Cook was not going to do anything.
I got
He was a
clowned
third
for
string
James
running
Cook,
back, and
but-
you're like, no, time out. You're like, you thought the third string running back from a team that doesn't run the ball was going to win Offensive Player of the Year. Like what? And you thought you were going
Offensive
to be
Rookie
right.
of the Year, first of all.
And now he's shocked that he was wrong.
I think you need
This
to
had
slow your
no
roll.
logical bearing.
I think you need to slow your roll because, sure enough, as wrong as the take was,
I
James
started him in
Cook
fantasy last
is
week. Got me
starting to
2.5
get
points.
involved. He is starting to get involved in that offense, just like I said earlier.
Yeah,
that
he's
he was
involved by
going
like
to.
12 other rookie running backs.
A few weeks ago, 11 carries, 86 yards. Just a couple weeks after that, 14 carries, 64 yards. 6 receptions, 41 yards. He's showing that he can be that guy.
2 decent performances
I was
the
just a
whole
little
year
early with
on
the
one of the
take.
best offenses in the league. I'm sorry that you were wrong. I'm sorry that you're trying to make it look better than it was, but it was terrible.
It was terrible.
That pick has burned to the ground weeks ago, and that's all I need to hear. Thank you, Jules.
It was terrible.
Anyways, one of my picks that was wrong. I got clowned for this. I stood by it, but it's time to admit I was wrong. I went heavy on Seahawks in our mid-award predictions. I picked Kenneth Walker for Rookie of the Year, which has looked decent so far. He's up there in the top one. I think he's second in odds. I picked Gino to win Comeback Player of the Year and Pete to win Coach of the Year. It's not looking great. I'll be honest. I think Gino technically has a shot if he can pull off some upsets. I think Pete's done for Coach of the Year. I have no clue who is going to win Coach of the Year. All the candidates we talked about before have been dog water. Like Giants look bad. The Vikings have looked bad. I mean, I don't really know who's going to win Coach of the Year. I don't think it's going to be Pete anymore because I don't think they're making the playoffs. But yeah, I messed up. It happens. At least I didn't pick a third string running back to win an award. So
thanks.
Yeah, it happens though.
Okay, my next correct one, since
Who
we'll
is the
flip
Coach
back
of
to
the Year?
that, was at
Honestly,
what?
Kyle Shanahan should be Coach of the Year.
It could be him, yeah. Well, speaking of that, my next one is that at week 9,
Doug Peterson's got
during the
potential
49ers bye, they were 4-4, and I said, don't you worry about the 49ers. They're going to be just fine. And sure enough, they have gone on a 5-game win streak.
Me and everyone else totally agreed with you.
They've gone on a 5-game win streak. They're threatening the Vikings for the 2nd seed, who was another of my right picks. I said the Vikings would easily run the North.
These are takes that the entire worldwide media had, Jules. You're not like some genius that just invented this out of your hat. Like,
well, then why didn't you agree with it? If it's such a world,
I did agree with it. I did say the Vikings were going to be good. I did say the 49ers were going to bounce back.
No,
I did. Don't do your little kid voice. I pulled up the tape. I said that.
Nah, that's.
I've been on the Niners ride or die the whole season. I've defended Jimmy G, just because I didn't say their little backup dude's a Tom Brady coming, but. Okay, yeah, blow your nose. Be sad. Anyways, I think we should move on to Week in Vegas. Hearing your boastfulness is hurting my ears.
Sure, let's move on to this week in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, baby.
You finally did worse than me for a week. You went 1-2 last week, and I went 2-1. Hallelujah.
And who's the better record?
You, of course. And we do not I don't get to celebrate very much. But you know what? I will celebrate. I had a win for a week. Finally.
Right. Are we evening out the numbers this week?
Yes, we're evening out the numbers. So do you want to make 3 picks and I'll make 1, or do you want to make 4 and I'll make 2? Either works.
I got 3 right in front of me, so let's pull that. Let's do that.
All right, cool.
So my first pick, I was looking through. I was kind of scrolling backwards. The Rams are +7 against the Packers this week.
Mm-hmm.
I got Rams +7. I mean, I don't know. 2 bad teams, 7 points is a lot of points. I mean, I know Baker's just starting, but he beat the Raiders last week. I mean, he can score points clearly, and the Packers' offense has been bad. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the defense, but the Rams' defense has always been solid. I don't know. 7 points feels like a lot.
7 points does feel like a lot. I looked at that. The Packers have not won by more than 7 in any game against except for the Bears games.
Yeah, and they shouldn't be. If the Bears weren't the poverty Bears, they wouldn't have won those games.
Yeah.
Like the
So
Bears totally should have won the game.
I don't think that's a bad play. I was definitely taking a look at that one. What's your next pick?
My next pick is I was shocked by this one too. So we saw the games last week. We saw the Bengals shut down the Browns. We saw Joe Burrow ball, and we saw Tom Brady get shut down by the Niners. And the Bengals are 3.5-point favorites. So we're gonna take the Bengals. I mean, I think this game's got blowout written all over it. Burrow is gonna ball because he does. Tom Brady and the Bucs offense is gonna probably struggle like they have all year. This is looking like a 31-10 game, something 24-10. But I don't see how this game stays close, to be personal.
That's where I think you're wrong. I think
scary. Jules thinks I'm
that's
wrong.
where I think you're wrong.
I'm feeling better now.
You know what? The Bengals absolutely look like a better team than the Buccaneers do. But are you really going to say this is going to look like a 31-10 game after Tom Brady?
The 49ers game was a 35-7 game, and the 49ers stepped off the break 3 minutes into the second half.
Once again, after Tom Brady, the best quarterback in the history of the NFL, gets blown out and embarrassed, do you really think he's going to let that happen again?
And do you really think that Joe freaking Burrow, Gawk's bit Tiger, is going to not let the Bengals
Would you just say?
Shut up. Anyways, so you think that Joe Burrow, Joe Cool, Joe the guy who I said might be the next coming up Tom Brady?
Joe Burr.
Yeah, Joe Burr. I mean, you think he's going to let this happen? You think he's not going to go ball out on these people? He's pissed. He barely scored in the second half against the Browns. He wants to make a statement right now.
I think Joe is going to be fine. I think it's the second part of what you said. I think the Bengals very well will score 31 points. But the fact that you think Tom Brady is going to return from last game and still do nothing again, that's
when has the Bucs offense done anything? When's the last time the Bucs offense scored like more than 15 or 17 points?
Against Seattle, they did in London.
Yeah, that was like a month ago.
Yeah, and they had a bye week and 2 bad games in between.
Yeah, so what makes you think they're going to be better?
Yeah, I don't think Tom Brady just lets that happen, though. There's some things that make sense in theory. Everything in theory of what you're saying makes sense. But then there's also
logic.
There's the but sometimes goats don't use logic. Sometimes you look at Tom Brady and he says, "I don't care if we've sucked. I'm the best player in the National Football League has ever had. So I'm not getting blown out 2 games in a row. It just doesn't work that way." And that's all I have to say.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're done talking. What's your next pick?
My one pick for the week, so that we even things out. You know, I looked up and down the whole list of what is my one pick because I really need a win here to catch up. Especially
you really, really, really do.
I need one win, and I need you to go 1-2 or 0-3 this week or something to stay alive. I am gonna go Lions money line.
You cannot do that.
They were 0 point. It was a.
Oh wait,
it was right. 0 either way. Lions and
no, I think it's -1, but
the app I've used all weeks of the season says 0.
Really? Okay, mine says -1. That's okay.
So I'm going Lions money line here. I think that is my most confident pick of what's available here. Personally, I don't think the Jets are ready. Zach Wilson's been a healthy scratch. Mike White has probably a broken rib or 2. And Joe Flacco is, Joe Flacco. So I'm going to take the Lions. I think that this is a game they win.
I'm not going to argue. I mean, I personally don't pick the Lions, but you do.
Okay. And what's your final pick of the day?
I got the Niners -3.5 against the Seahawks. Seahawks have played bad. The Niners have played good. The Niners don't allow people to score points, and the 49ers have an all-star team in offense. I don't know. This like the Bengals game. This is blowout written all over it. I don't really see how it stays super close.
It could, but then again, I never pick Thursday night games because they never go how I expect them to. So I stayed
True,
away
but
from that game.
okay,
Fair enough. And that's in Seattle, so you
true,
never
but
know.
I mean Seattle's close to San Francisco. It's not like the Niners have like a crazy flight or anything like that to throw them off. Same weather, same atmosphere. But
Yeah, but they don't have the 12th man like Seattle does.
true, but they have Brock Purdy and they have George Kittle and they have Christian McCaffrey and they have Trent Williams and they have Fred Warner
Yeah.
and they
One
have
more thing about that actually. Right before the show happened tonight, uh, there was a report that came out that Debo will only be out about 3 weeks.
yeah, he has
Their
an
Super
MCL
Bowl
sprain and like
hopes,
low grade ankle sprain.
their Super Bowl hopes are saved. If
He was
he's
gonna
there
come
for the
back to the
playoffs,
playoffs anyway.
I think they run through the NFC.
Yeah, we've said this all year. Thank you, Jules.
No, but if Debo is out, then whole Super Bowl plans in jeopardy. But that's why I'm saying they're really lucky it's only 3 weeks, because if he was out for the rest of the year, I think that's where the playoff hopes come to an end, come to a
He was never
close.
going to be out the rest of the year.
I mean,
Yeah,
based
he
on
was out.
how
He was
he
going to be
looked
out
after
till
the
like the
injury,
playoffs
you
or the
never
last week of the
know.
regular season.
I mean, he was like getting carted off, crying or whatever. Like that's when you see that type of injury, it's usually pretty long term, but they're lucky to only have it be 3 weeks, especially with the history of the 49ers. They're always getting injured out for the year, out for 8 weeks, out for 9 weeks, you know? So good for them that it's only
Yeah, they
three.
do a lot of injuries. You're kind of right.
Yeah, I know.
They're a physical football team.
Mm-hmm. All right. You have anything final to say before we close out the show?
I think you had some really bad takes.
Thank you.
You talk too much, but
Thank you.
and I
I
think I
appreciate
did had
it.
better.
Well,
I think I had a better show than you, but that's okay. We all
oh,
have our
per
moments.
per usual, right?
Oh, of course. It's a weekly occurrence.
Yeah. Well, everyone, this is the final show in the studio, in the apartment studio. You know, it's a little ratchet looking. But you know, we've had this place doing the show for the last 3 months. I'll be back home next week. Maybe we'll do another in-person show. Maybe we'll be still at our own houses for 1 or 2 episodes. We'll see. But yeah, thank you all for watching. That's all we got this week. And yeah, see y'all later. Good luck on finals if you're watching.